Ladies and gentlemen, even I can't believe the story I'm about to present to you. I guess I'm going back to my roots as an election integrity activist. That's how I got started talking about politics. It was after the 2020 election. I felt the shenanigans were overwhelming. I felt then, and still believe now, that there was no way Joe Biden, out of his basement, summoned 81 million people to cast their ballots for him. That's still my feeling. It's why I got kicked off YouTube in 2021. Because they didn't like me saying that. I guess the Biden White House, Media Matters, and all these demonic groups, demon rat groups, banded together and pressured YouTube to take down voices like mine. But recently, YouTube said, all right, you can come back. We apologize. Anyways, this is a crazy story. Ladies and gentlemen, even my fingers couldn't believe this when I was typing it on X. The Attorney General of Kansas just charged Mayor Jose Ceballos of the city of Coldwater for illegally voting as a non-citizen in several elections. Let's watch this video very quickly.
The mayor of Coldwater accused of election fraud. The charges come hours after he secured a second term in office. Attorney General Chris Kobach charged Mayor Jose Joe Ceballos with 6 felonies, 3 counts each of voting without being qualified and election perjury. Kobach claims Ceballos is lawfully living in the U.S. but is a citizen of Mexico, making him ineligible to vote. The AG alleges the mayor illegally cast ballots in the August 2024 primary and November 2022 and 2023 general elections.
In large part, our system right now is based on trust. Trust that when the person signed the registration or signs the poll books saying that he's a qualified elector or that he is a United States citizen, that the person is telling the truth.
I don't like this system of trust, Mr. Attorney General, because it's not working. Clearly, we can't trust people to not vote when they're not citizens. I think everyone's asking the same question I asked when I saw this story, but how is it that this guy can, one, vote at all? Why is there no verification? But secondly, and probably more importantly, how is he able to run for office as a non-citizen? Isn't there like some sort of proof of citizenship you have to provide to be allowed to even show up on the ballot? If the people voting for you are citizens, surely you have to be a citizen yourself. This is so confusing. That's how bizarre this is to me. So, Mr. Mayor Jose, he calls himself Joe. Maybe that's how he got away with it. Instead of saying Jose, he said, I'm Joe Ceballos. And people were like, oh, he's one of us. He's one of us. Let's vote for him. Let's vote for Joe. No, his name is Jose, okay? His nickname's Joe, but it's Jose. A state lawmaker said hundreds more cases are expected, so a lot of people are going to be going to jail. I guess Kansas is taking this seriously. If they really were taking it seriously, they would audit everything that has ever happened in that state relating to elections. They need to find out how many of these people are doing this. This is a small town, so the fact that you caught it in a small town means it's happening much more in bigger cities. The charges carry a potential penalty of up to 68 months imprisonment and up to $200,000 in fines. I'm sorry, 5 years is not enough. That guy needs to be in jail for at least 10 years. He did it in 3 elections. He defrauded the city, defrauded the taxpayers. He became city councilman. He served 2 terms on the city council and was elected mayor in 2021. This guy has been committing a crime, an active crime, for years. A position he is not qualified to hold if he's not a U.S. citizen. Hey, can we just check to make sure that everyone holding a position in this country is actually a citizen? Let's just check, because I didn't think this was possible ever. But apparently it is. Oh my gosh. There's like 2 levels of crime here. It's him voting illegally as a non-citizen, and then him serving as a city councilman as a mayor. That's crazy to me. How is this possible? He referenced the Attorney General, Chris Kobach, a Kansas statute that requires a city officer to be a qualified elector, meaning he has to be a citizen. This is crazy to me, man. Schwab said it would be up to the local governing board to make a determination about the mayoral race after the election is finalized. They should just hold the new election. The people deserve to have a new chance at picking a U.S. citizen to represent them. Nah, it can't be just 5 years and a $200,000 fine. That guy needs to spend a long time in jail. He needs to be made an example out of. I hope the federal Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, and President Trump and that administration takes a look at everything else in this country, because I am sniffing. My intuition is telling me this isn't just restricted to that small town in Kansas. I think a lot of these situations exist elsewhere, including, more specifically and especially, California, possibly Texas, because there's a lot of these not illegals but lawful residents who aren't citizens that are in positions of power or voting. Wow. The Coldwater City Council were called in for a special meeting by Mayor Joe Ceballos. Wait. What? He's still mayor? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what I meant. I'm shocked. I didn't read this part before prepping for the video. While prepping for the video. That's crazy. He called the special meeting to talk about his indictment, his charges. Hey guys, I'm not a citizen, but I've been your mayor. Hey, why doesn't something happen to where he's not mayor? But yeah, he's going to jail. He's going to jail. While the recent allegations involving the mayor are understandably concerning, we will allow the proper legal procedure, this is the city council president talking, process to take its course before making any further comments. It's important that we respect both due process and the integrity of lady, Britt Lynette, is that your name? Lady, we just found out your mayor's not an illegal, but a non-citizen. And you're talking about the integrity of our local government. You have no integrity because the guy leading the city is unlawfully doing so. This is ridiculous. She said the city is unaware what, if any, implications it would have for city business if it's determined Ceballos has not been eligible to hold office. Well, the implications would be that all his actions are vitiated. The Supreme Court has set precedent that fraud in any proceedings, contractual agreements, and all sorts of things vitiates the activity that proceeded after from that contract or agreement. So this guy has been fraudulently leading the city for years. He should be, or really all his actions should be invalidated. The candidates that ran against him should sue him. He should be forced to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars, pay all their campaign fees. Because this is a big deal. I don't care if the city has 500 people in it. In fact, now I'm curious. How many people, the citizens should file some kind of class action lawsuit. Look at this dork. That's his face, by the way. Coldwater, Kansas population. Let's see. Less than 1,000 people. Okay, let's go metro population. Okay, less than 1,000 people. The town is the county seat of Comanche County, 1,700 people. And your mayor's an illegal or is a non-citizen from Mexico. How is that possible? Oh my gosh, that's disgusting. The Secretary of State and the Attorney General said the state is actively pursuing cases like this by using the federal systematic alien verification for entitlements, or SAVE database, which can be queried by states to determine a voter's U.S. citizenship status. This should have been done long ago. How are you guys only finding this out after 5 years? Sorry, no. It's been longer than 5 years, because he became mayor in 2021, but he served 2 terms as a city council member. So this guy's been doing this for I assume city council people spend let's say 4 years. That's 8 years. If it's 2 years per term, then it's 4 years. At the very least, he's been in this position illegally for a long time. For 16 years. I'm exaggerating. But you get it. You understand the point. That's ridiculous, man. Stephen Miller, the White House deputy, whatever he is, director of policy, like him. I like him a lot. He's leading immigration policy. And you guys know how I love my deportations, right? He gave a pretty good take on this with Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity loves to hear himself talk, but I guess this time around he let Stephen Miller talk about why Democrats are obsessed with letting non-citizens vote by not passing the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act would require proof of citizenship to register to vote, which would invalidate all the shenanigans, half of the shenanigans.
Voters want ID, signature verification, chain of custody controls, updated voter rolls. They want partisan observers watching the voting all day, the vote counting all night. That brings integrity to the process and confidence in results. Why would you be against it?
The only reason, Sean, you would be against any of that is if you wanted illegal aliens to vote and to vote in incredibly large numbers. So let's just deal with all of this BS right now. Every other country in the world of any note requires an ID to vote. The notion that Democrats are pushing that married women, who, by the way, are a Republican voting demographic, cannot get ID could be one of the dumbest talking points I have heard in my entire life. As you said, the Real ID Act creates an ID that you can get at the DMV that demonstrates you're a citizen. Democrats want illegal aliens to vote. It's why Joe Biden and his administration gave millions, we verified this now, millions with an M, of illegal aliens social security numbers. And once you have a social security number, it is incredibly easy to vote, to collect welfare, to get free government benefits, to participate in every aspect of American life. This isn't a mystery. They want illegals to steal elections, Sean.
All right, Stephen, what you're saying echoes exactly what Doge found, because not.
We're going to skip Sean Hannity talking because he's not going to make a better point than Stephen Miller. Hey, Sean, just a piece of advice. When you have a guest on your show, let him speak for the majority of the time. Even when he's interviewing the president, he's always adding his input. We clicked on the interview to see Trump talk, and you ask questions. Don't go on these long sentences. Half this video is him talking.
It is absolutely by design. You've summarized it for your audience perfectly, Sean. This was not a loophole. The Biden administration, Secretary of Homeland Security, Alejandro Mayorkas, devised a scheme to fly illegal aliens into the country and then to escort them en masse across the border by the millions and to give them something known as parole, which gives them a work permit, which gives them a social security number, which gives them access to the voting booth. This was the plan all along, to get them here illegally so they can get free government benefits, get hooked to welfare, and be able to participate in American elections. This was an attack on democracy by the Democrat Party. It's the same attack that we see, Sean, when you have California, a sanctuary state, that is refusing to turn over even illegal alien criminals and gang members to ICE. So these are illegal aliens in California who have been arrested by California police, by California law enforcement for serious crimes, for crimes against children, for felonies, for crimes that threaten public safety, and they are refusing to hand these criminal illegal aliens over to ICE. Instead, they're freeing them back into the cities to offend and offend again. By any definition, what California is doing is criminal. It is a violation of our laws. It is one of the most heinous things that I have seen in my entire life in Washington.
He's so right. I'm still annoyed, man. 68 months for that? Hey, triple the charges. The federal government needs to get involved and add their own charges to this guy, because that's ridiculous. Whoever allowed that to happen, you know somebody allowed it to happen. They must have looked to see if he was qualified, whoever the Secretary of State was then, and allowed it to happen. Look, a lot of things need to happen. One, we need a better census. So we need to redo the census from 2020, because that census awarded states like Illinois, California, New York, House seats that they did not earn. A lot of their populations left and they fled. They went to Florida. They went to free states. All those states I mentioned were losing population. They were losing people. Red states should have gotten higher electoral votes. Texas should have gotten like 2 more based on the calculations. The only blue states that might have gained people are maybe Washington State and Oregon, because the liberals from California fled there, but the conservatives fled to Arizona and other states. But New York should have lost electoral votes. Illinois, same thing as well, should have lost electoral votes. States around the South should have been gaining electoral votes. Georgia should have gained an electoral vote. That's like at least 10 seats in the House that are dubious because of the census. The census counted every person in the United States, not every legal person. Because if only citizens are allowed to vote for members of Congress, then certainly only citizens should be considered when it comes to representation in congressional districts. It's common sense. So that's something the Trump administration has to do. The census, they have to get the next census right or revisit the old census under the justification that it was done illegally and unlawfully. Second thing, and this is a bigger thing, they must absolutely do whatever they can to scrutinize the voter rolls in all these states. They're doing some work, but they need to be aggressive. Look at the inactive rolls as well, because a lot of the times they'll activate the inactive roll like 3 weeks before the election and then re-deactivate it, which means you don't catch whatever they do. And pass the SAVE Act. That's the final thing. Pass the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act would require citizenship. But you know why we're struggling to pass it? Even some Democrats in the House agree with it. Like, I think 10 Democrats sided with the Republicans on the SAVE Act. But you know why we can't pass it? Because of the filibuster in the Senate. That's disturbing. And Senate Republicans don't want to get rid of the filibuster because they're weak. Anyways, yeah. Now you guys know why I was shocked from the beginning. Thank you all very much for watching. Let's hope this guy goes to jail for a very long time and is forced to pay a lot of money, because this is all just so ridiculous. I can't believe it. Have a good night. God bless you all. Bye.